I'm Mike Score. I'm president of Hantz Farms. Hantz Farms is a business enterprise within the Hantz Group, and the Hantz Group was started by John Hantz about 14 years ago. 20 years ago, when John moved to Detroit, the economy was booming, and the residential areas were full and well maintained. But over the last 20 years, Detroit has been going through a transition, and houses started to be vacated. Somebody would lose their house, they'd board it up, people would move in, squatters would come in and damage the house. Maybe it would catch on fire, the fire department would come and level it, and then now you have an empty house where there used to be a house. And then that would just spread in neighborhoods. And part of the problem is that the city now owns about a third of the real estate through foreclosure. And when the city owns that land, they don't collect any revenue in the form of taxes, but they still have to maintain it. And it costs the city about $9 million per square mile per year just to provide basic services to that land. So in theory, it would cost the city about $360 million to maintain the property they own. And because they don't have $360 million a year to spend on this vacant property, Detroit looks like it looks today. But we're trying to, in a reasonable way, in a cost-effective way, buy a large amount of vacant property from the city. We'll pay them cash for their land, so they can get it off of their books as a liability, and they can swap the land for cash. And then in purchasing that land, we begin paying property taxes, and we take over the maintenance costs for the property. We would hire some people to work on the farm. So it converts blight to beauty, creates jobs, and it strengthens the city's budget. He decided that he could commit up to $30 million for a farm of up to 10,000 acres. It'll be open. We're not going to fence it in. The streets are going to stay in place, and people can ride their bikes through Hantz Farms or go for hikes through Hantz Farms. And when we plant trees, we want to plant trees that people can learn about. Why do we want trees in an urban environment? What good are they? How would you make money from trees? But then also enjoy their beauty. And it's great to, the Hantz Group generated the revenue that pays the bills. So I've got a 600-member team that's proud of this work. There's an area next to our office, about 3.5 acres of vacant land in a 5-acre neighborhood. That neighborhood used to have 50 homes in it, and over time most of those homes fell into disrepair, were lost to foreclosure, they were demolished, and the property was back to bare ground. And we bought that property. At the time it was covered with brush, and we went in March and started cutting out the brush. And when the brush was gone, we found on 3.5 acres 430 tires and 150 cubic yards of household trash that had been dumped in that area over the years. When we cleaned up that area, there was grass. We started mowing the grass, and then this fall we went in and killed out strips of vegetation, drilled the holes, and in November we're going to plant the property to trees. And I know every neighbor over there by name, and when I walk through that neighborhood, they stop me and they thank me for transforming that neighborhood. It's great. A lot of single mothers would say, do you know how scary it is to walk our kids to the school bus in the morning and then to walk home alone? It's scary to walk outside with our kids. It's scary for us to walk through areas that are shoulder high with weeds, trees growing up in the alleys and the thickets, vacant, burned out houses. You never know, what's in there. There are dogs running in that part of the city. It's just a scary place to be. And the thought of a company willing to invest in that neighborhood and remove the blight and cut the grass every other week and plant trees in rows so that over time it just becomes increasingly beautiful. They can't believe that could actually happen. They thought they were stuck there, and now they're actually glad that they live in that part of the city if our farm is going to expand into their neighborhood.
Well, there is a big difference from how it was when I was growing up. Seeing this go from the ups to the downs, and now everything is changing. I have a 1-year-old son. That's my son right there. They wouldn't done this. It wouldn't. Ain't no telling what he would be around here getting into. I didn't even want to have my son around the neighborhood. I was thinking about moving. So by them taking down the abandoned houses, making something of the neighborhood, so he can grow up and say, I didn't have to see it what my mom had to see.
It will affect the community by all the neighbors helping each other, helping y'all out. Exactly, like picking the food and keeping the grass and stuff clean. It will help us out a lot. It will.
So I think it's a really good idea, you know, that they come in and do something that's going to benefit all the way around. You know, make the area look a lot better. Bring back some hope, because a lot of people have lost the faith, the hope, and confidence in Detroit.
So it is great to have John Hantz and his team willing to take wealth that they've generated through their business and invest it in this new way. We've attracted a lot of attention in the global marketplace, and several major companies and even mid-sized companies have come to us and asked how they could participate. And they're interested in making investments that will help urban agriculture become a new global industry for businesses of all scale to participate in. And so there's this need and this interest not only to launch a farm, but to use the farm as a platform for education and tourism. People come to enjoy, but people come to learn. It's a business, and it's going to be a part of a community. Detroit will be a more livable place 10 years from now because of our venture. If you drive through the area where our farm is going to launch right now, it's arguable that you would never live there, and you would think that the people who live there should leave. It really is that unlivable. And 10 years from now, you're going to look and say, wow, that's one of the nicest places to live. I think I would like to live here. That's what our farm is going to be like 10 years from now.